Hi Libra, so this is your full moon astrological prediction. So I'm doing things a little different. I'm writing everything down, which takes me, 2 to 3 hours to really intuit a whole prediction right now. So let me show you what I have here. I'm starting out with just a general overview of what's going on with the full moon, the planets involved, what houses are activating for you specifically. So this is the first page right here. And this is the second page, which I start with the predictions. And also on the first page, when I give the general overview, I add an evolutionary astrological highlight where I pick a planet in a certain phase within the lunation cycle. And then I pick another planet that is making an aspect according to what lunation cycle it is in for, the planet, the first planet that I choose. So that's something that I'm adding, to your horoscope, which is really exciting because evolutionary astrology helps you connect more with soul and the evolutionary need to grow from the inside out. So, let's see. So here is the first page, which gets to the prediction of the full moon and all the aspects. And then here's your second page, and it's front and back. So I get pretty in depth with these predictions, which helps me learn. And pretty soon I'll be able just to look at the chart and just, go off the fly with what I'm seeing, which makes me feel real confident as someone learning astrology in depth and committing everything to memory, so it's always, there for me to use at my disposal. So also with you, Libra, I wanted to do something a little different because I was noticing, all the previous signs had the same theme, and they're going to have the same theme because the Grand Cross here with the full moon is activating the signs that are all fixed, and it's going to have some sense of, needing to be more self-authentic. And of course, we have these certain energies on the node that is activated by some of these slower moving planets. So yes, the theme definitely very similar to all of the signs. So I wanted to try to do yours a little differently. So what I did is, let's look at the chart as close as we can zoom in, and I'll just show you. So what I did is I went in and, let's see, I could probably bring the camera closer for yours because I did yours really different. So you're right here, Libra, and this is for you, Libra Ascendant. I wanted to, instead of going straight to the full moon and the aspects and interpreting, them because it was giving off kind of the similar vibe, I went around your chart to see if I could find any other theme going on that kind of spoke to me. And what I seen here, I'm going to read off of what I wrote, but this is how I did your prediction, and it's very different than, the other signs. And what I noticed here, there was a different storyline unfolding when I did it this way. So I kind of noticed what was going on in each house. I was letting the planet and the energy in the house speak to me in the aspect. And I was just like intuiting and attracting to me what was going on within, the the connections and the communications within the energy of your, astrological chart here. So here, what I wrote down, I have, well, first of all, let's go back to your general overview so I can read that to you. And then we'll go back to the chart. So, let's see. So Libra, the full moon is occurring in your 11th house and your 5th house. The sun 19 degrees Leo, 11th house, and the moon 24 degrees conjunct Saturn, 22 degrees retrograde Aquarius, 5th house. So there is a grand cross activating your 11th, 5th, 2nd, and 8th houses. The sun 19 degrees Leo, 11th house. The moon 24 degrees conjunct Saturn, retrograde 22 degrees Aquarius, 5th house. And the north node 17 degrees conjunct Uranus, 18 degrees conjunct Mars, 25 degrees. And the sign of Taurus, your 8th house. And we have the south node at 17 degrees in Scorpio, your 2nd house. So the T-squares explain further detail of the Grand Cross, which are many. And then we have 3 bisextiles included in this full moon horoscope. The first one being Black Moon, Lilith, 13 degrees Cancer, 10th house. Mercury, 12 degrees Virgo, 12th house. And South Node, 17 degrees Scorpio, 2nd house. And the second bisextile is Mars, 25 degrees Taurus, 8th house. Neptune, 24 degrees retrograde Pisces, 6th house. And then we have Pluto, 26 degrees retrograde Capricorn, 4th house. And then finally, the last bisextile is Black Moon Lilith again at 13 degrees Cancer, your 10th house. And then also Mercury again at 12 degrees Virgo, your 12th house. And the South Node, 17 degrees Scorpio, your 2nd house. So the evolutionary astrological highlight I have, let's zoom in as much as we can to this chart that I use. And I wrote down here Saturn 22 degrees retrograde in your 5th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aquarius is in a first quarter phase within the lunation cycle. So Saturn from your right here, your 1st house, according to the lunation cycle, because I go off the rising sign here, Saturn here 22 degrees retrograde in Aquarius, your 5th house, is in the first quarter phase within the lunation cycle. And each lunation cycle is about 45 degrees each. So it's about, each house is 30 degrees normally. It'll be a house and a half. So Saturn there is in a first quarter phase within the lunation cycle, and Saturn is making a 90 degree square over to Mars, 25 degrees in the sign of Taurus, your 8th house. So within this first quarter phase lunation cycle, this is a square going on with Mars and Saturn retrograde. So we think, what does Mars mean? It's in a balsamic phase within, 25 degrees within this sign of Taurus. So it's kind of culminating something itself here, this planet. And then we think about, what does this planet mean? Everything it means, and then what really speaks. What is it doing here? What's going on with it according to the aspect, the house, the sign. So Taurus, fixed right here in the 8th house of intimacy, other people's money, death, rebirth, taxes, soul merging, and then we have Aquarius right here, humanitarian concerns, society at large, larger associations, innovations, downloads, astrology, or this knowledge from, on high, and it's liberation here, Saturn here, retrograde, deconditioning, with Saturn retrograde, 22 degrees. It's entering at the tail end of its balsamic phase. So, you know, and Saturn's all about rebuilding structure, wants to bring in a true self authenticity, as far as one allowing the sun, the spirit, to really be showcased. So it's Saturn is the energy that helps with self-empowerment and understanding who you truly are, and maturing process, because it rules time. So, you know, Saturn has a lot to do with building someone's character, so to say. Can you just imagine all that? So the square is a 90-degree aspect within this lunation cycle, first quarter phase. And, you know, the square is a tense energy because it requires action, okay? And it really brings out the best in a person. So the first quarter phase is the establishment of a new inkling of what's to come, sparked by the new phase. So this is just what a first quarter phase means in the lunation cycle generally. So the crisis in action here is to give variety to the circumstances and stray away from falling back into old cycles. Okay, and then Saturn time is helping the native, which is you, the Libra ascendant, or whoever is drawn to this video. Helping the native to slow down. So this is what I was feeling when I saw this aspect. The square to Mars, Taurus, and using one's time wisely here. So slowing down and using one's time wisely. Because Saturn represents time, and the square is going from Saturn to Mars. Saturn is, you know, like the brakes, hold up, we got to, you know, be more calculated, take our time to do things, do it right. Mars just wants to go. It's like the gas pedal, if you use that analogy, and can kind of just rush things because it's excited, you know. It's like Mars just comes into, like, you think about an Aries just coming into the room, like, you know, I'm just the leader, the trailblazer. And then Saturn, which rules, you know, Capricorn, but hold up, who's the boss again? So, you know, you have to have that dynamic. So it's kind of needing to slow down, and it's a square. And then Taurus is already needing to take time as well. So the exchange of energy, 8th house, you know, where Taurus is, Mars being energy, is being addressed through power here. Power dynamics, which is the 8th house. So, and expanding, because Taurus is here, or the North Node is here in Taurus, you know, with this conjunction with Uranus and Mars. And, you know, the North Node really expands things, you know, to open up, you know, the future, so to say. So, on ways to innovate, create energy, which is Aquarius. You know, then we have this software that I use has a description of the Grand Cross in T-squares, but it doesn't have one of the bisextiles, but it doesn't give, I mean, it gives the meaning of what a grand square is, but it doesn't give a prediction, so to say. And then it's like, you don't even know who wrote the text, it just shows no name, but I mean, it is helpful, but I just noticed that the other day. So here, Aquarius, you know, innovate, create energy, is being established through testing Saturn, different exciting ways. Saturn in Aquarius, you know, testing different exciting ways here, is generating, stabilizing, you know, Taurus, one's own power, 8th house, purifying one's own soul through closed circuit, which is Taurus, self-containment, Taurus, and Mars pioneering. I am enough, and I don't need anything or anyone outside of myself to rebuild and innovate. Saturn, Aquarius, my soul's innocence, right here, 5th house. So Yes, because I feel like the soul here, because this is an evolutionary astrological highlight, is much about the soul. I just gave like a further prediction of just, you know, what it could mean in general. But it's according to the evolutionary growth of the soul, yes, the innocence of the soul here. Saturn is helping to decondition or in order to rebuild back up and innovate, you know, Aquarius, and being in your own power here. So there doesn't need to be a struggle with, you know, the power dynamics of soul merging and needing to establish and testing in exciting different ways so that, you know, one can generate and stabilize their own power here and be more of a closed circuit and self-contained Taurus, and be pioneering at the same time. I can do this. Trailblazer with Mars. So that's your evolutionary astrological highlight. So when I did your chart a little differently, let's start off with the full prediction. So I didn't just jump into the major aspects. I kind of flowed my way around the chart, and I'll explain how I did it in a second here. But this is what I wrote down for you, Libra. So the full moon is activating your 11th and 5th houses. The sun 19 degrees in Leo in your 11th house right here, and then the moon 24 degrees conjunct Saturn retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, your 5th house. So Libra, I was getting a similar message as all the other signs as I mentioned, so I wanted to do something a little different. What I did with your prediction is I went around your chart and paid close attention to where each planet was and the houses involved. What I was noticing, intuiting, somewhat of a different message by flowing around your chart before focusing in on the full moon, specific aspects like the Grand Cross here by sextiles. What I channeled was a specific theme that has to deal with partnership for you, Libra. And you know, it's funny, Libra, because a lot of the time we all see this, you know, focus in on partnership in some way, shape, or form. So feeling the void though of a paternal figure. So that's what I saw, like partnership, feeling the void of a paternal figure, and moving out of that kind of that those tendencies or even connection. So let me tell you how I saw this playing out. So because Pluto 26 degrees here in Capricorn retrograde in your 4th house here, that was the first sign. Then I looked over at Black Moon Lilith 13 degrees in the 10th house in Cancer. This polarity deals with both the matriarch and patriarch Capricorn. Also 4th house represents the mother, and in this case upbringing. Pluto retrograde 26 degrees 4th